Were you silent or were you silenced? Think of your brother and his transition over the years.
You know, I really don't talk about my brother really anymore.
Have you ever felt this way before?
Nearly 20 years later, this remains an unforgettable moment.
You know the one about eating.
Yeah, you know, people are going to write what they want to write. We try not to read the good or the bad because it just kind of comes with the territory.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be the next president and vice president of the United States.
Oprah this way! Right here.
My reaction is that free speech not only lives, it rocks.
Not everyone loves Oprah, and I think Mary-Kate and Ashley, Janet Jackson, Monique, and a couple of other notable names have pretty good reasons why. So Oprah came under fire back in 2021 for an interview she did in 2004 where she asked Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen what clothing size they were. Sure, at the time of the interview, rumors had been circulating that Mary-Kate was suffering from an eating disorder, but that doesn't make it okay. Even if they were already budding fashion designers, still not okay. Later that year, the actress turned fashion designer spent time in a rehab facility to receive treatment for a health-related issue. And then Ashley was quick to step in and say, yeah, you know what, people are gonna write what they're gonna write. We try not to read the good or the bad because it just comes with the territory. Either you're too fat, too skinny, but then Oprah interrupted saying, well, what size are you, by the way? And like, you can see Mary-Kate and Ashley both looking very uncomfortable, and rightfully so. And like Ashley tried to play it off being like, size, like, oh, like we're both petite. And then Oprah was not having it. She's like, oh, that's so interesting. Like, I'm obsessed with size. And like, you're like, I don't really know. This whole interaction makes me so uncomfortable because you can just tell that Oprah is looking for a story, for a news headline. And the girls are just like, hey, let's talk about our career. Let's talk about anything other than stuff that's actually troubling us. Janet Jackson's beef with Oprah Winfrey is also extremely personal for different reasons. So while Janet's A-okay on being interviewed with Oprah, and she was horrified when her brother's family was called on the show. She saw that as Oprah using Michael's family as a means to boost her ratings, and that's just disgusting. There are sources that have reported that there was an intense conversation between the duo, one that created a lasting feud, and rightfully so. Sure, yes, Michael did pass away, but his family was not old enough to be able to know to go on that show or not at the time when that happened. Back in March of 2010, Monique won the Best Supporting Actress Academy Award for her performance in Precious. And after that, she's been very open about her beliefs that she was blackballed in the entertainment industry for quite a long period of time at the hands of media moguls such as Oprah Winfrey. Oprah has a lot of power to this day, even though she doesn't have her talk show anymore. She still has her hands in a lot of things. And she happens to be the talk show host who had an interview with Monique's family days after Monique's big career accomplishment, which sounds great in theory, but just wait for the context, folks. Oprah sat down with the comedian's older brother, Gerald, who harmed Monique growing up. This was the first time he had admitted to his crimes. He confessed to also being a victim of the same actions by other family members, but that's not important. When Monique had her big moment, Oprah chose to bring on that and make that the primary discussion. It just doesn't make sense. One person on Twitter agreed with me saying like, it looks bad for Oprah. And I agree. Somebody else said that Oprah definitely seems like she has a mean, cold side. I just wonder why she was so mean to Monique. And Monique herself said like Oprah crossed her on so many different levels. And it's very blatant, to me at least. Yeah. She said she reached out to Oprah, but her efforts to communicate didn't really happen. It took 3 years after that interview when she confronted Oprah at a celebration for Lupita Nyong'o, being like, hey, I need to talk to you. And when Monique said that, the entire party went quiet. You could hear a pin drop because everybody was kind of like, oh boy, what's gonna happen? Monique said, since you didn't want to return my calls for whatever reason, I'm gonna say this right here. She asked Oprah, like, why did you invite my family on the show at that time when I was not talking to my family? And Oprah was like, oh, like, I didn't know the whole family was gonna show up. She literally said, I didn't know anything about that. If I did anything to offend you, I apologize. You're telling me the woman who created a media empire and micromanages everything didn't know? Sure. Okay, Pinocchio. Rose McGowan has called Oprah as fake as they come in a lot of scathing internet posts. Why? Well, Oprah's had friendships with scummy people. I can't name them, I can't talk about them, we can't show them, but like, You know who I'm talking about. Rose took to Twitter to speak out against the popular talk show host, sharing a photo of Oprah kissing a very disgraced person in Hollywood on the cheek. This was a photo taken in 2014, so it's not like a super old photo. It's recent enough that the rumors were swirling about the person that I can't talk about, that we can't show. I'm sorry, folks. McGowan is a Me Too activist, and she captioned the photo that she posted saying, "I'm glad more are seeing the ugly truth of Oprah. I wish she were real, but she isn't. From being pals with scummy people to abandoning and destroying victims, she is about supporting a sick power structure for personal gain. She is as fake as they come. #lizard." In a recent episode of the Stephen A. Smith Show, he was reacting to the results of the US presidential election, and he called out celebrity figures like Oprah for alienating everyday people by trying to guilt them into voting for a certain candidate. He said, and I quote, "In the end, celebrities who are worth hundreds of millions, if not billions, who most American citizens feel are incredibly detached from their way of life and their quality of life, we're not going to get away and guilt them into doing something different than what their experience says is going on and what they should do about it." After playing a clip of Oprah imploring an audience to vote while warning them it could be their last chance to vote should a certain candidate win, Smith ripped the daytime talk legend apart for trying to scold or scare Americans into political action. He said, "This is the kind of stuff that alienates an electorate, alienates a voter, because the freedom that you tell them you have, you try to confiscate morally by letting them know, you ain't worth a damn unless you vote the way we say you should vote. Who's going to go for that in a general election? With an economy rife with inflation, with over 12 million people crossing all the time, the value of their dollars dissipating before their very eyes." He went on and on and on. And also, I'm just gonna say, he was consistent throughout the campaign that celebrity endorsements are useless on both sides. Like, he's laughed off former NFL quarterback Brett Favre for coming out in favor of the candidate that won. And like, look folks, we all remember the Believe video. Out of touch celebrities, yeah, out of touch. Toni Braxton took aim at Oprah in a TV expose, alleging the TV titan was mean to her during a 1998 interview about the singer's financial problems. So she insisted that the TV chat severely damaged her reputation after Oprah made some choice remarks about Toni's overspending, which led Braxton to declare bankruptcy. So this was a taped interview with VH1 for a Behind the Music special, and the singer said, "She was so freaking mean to me. I was in shock. She said, 'I hear you have Gucci flatware. I'm Oprah Winfrey and I don't have Gucci flatware.' And she was like, 'Well, you don't have Gucci flatware because you didn't want to buy it, not because you can't afford it.'" You might think otherwise, but people don't usually feud with Oprah, at least not publicly, which is why it was really jarring to see Taraji P. Henson speak out about the disrespect she faced on the set of The Color Purple, a film where Oprah was an executive producer and had a big role in, like, everything. Henson's comments sparked immediate rumblings of a feud between the two women, as well as a necessary conversation about the way Black women in Hollywood are constantly disrespected and underpaid. And while Oprah has claimed that there was no hatred between the two women, there was definitely some kind of mess. Back in December of last year, Taraji told The Hollywood Reporter that she was fed up with the industry. She was sick of being underpaid. She was fighting tooth and nail every project to get that same freaking quote. And later that month, Gayle King, Oprah's bestie, asked her about her saying that she wanted to retire from acting. And the star got teary, saying she was just tired of working so hard, being gracious at what she does, and getting paid a fraction of the cost. And that's all for today, folks. See you next time.